Welcome back to my channel. This again. Today we're gonna make ogbono soup, another type of Nigerian soup, ogbono soup, or you call it draw soup, because when you dip your swallow in the soup, it's like you get that slimy thing drawing. It's not slimy. We call it draw soup. That's our own way of calling it. So here I have ogbono, the main ingredients, ogbono. So I have my crayfish. This time I have prawn. Prawn. This is prawn. And then the crayfish. Yeah. And then the usual garlic, garlic, ginger, pepper, onions, and the famous ogre. Ogre is a bean locust plant. Um, that they use in the village to make this ogre is like Maggie cube, our own local Maggie cube ogre. The taste come into the obono and then it tastes very good and wonderfully dried fish. Yeah, you can't do without dry fish in my country. So I'm making this soup today. You're gonna see how we make it and how good it is. The name of the main ingredient is ogbono. There is ogbono with okra as well, but you can make ogbono on its own. I'm that type that doesn't like vegetable on my ogbono, so I make it just like that. I love it without vegetable. And you can use okra and add the okra at the end, and that will become the vegetable. It depends on the way you like it. Remember, the soup is just to your tastes. Everybody makes it to their taste, but the main ingredient in this soup is ogbono. So it's like our soup in Nigeria. We use the same system: the pepper, the ginger. If you want, to, not everybody eat ginger. Crayfish. Make it a sauce with crayfish, watery sauce, and your main protein ingredient. Then at the end, add whatever you want to add, egusi, ogbono, okra, whatever, and then you have soup come out. Then you call it that particular soup. So this time I'm making ogbono soup. Yeah. So the protein of my choice today, as usual, I love my momo. We call it momo. I've always loved my momo. You know, the cow tail. This time I have cow tail, cow leg. I have the tripper. Right, I'm gonna put it down so that you can see what I've got there. Look, the main my protein choice today is cow leg. Yeah, not cow tail. Sorry about that. Cow leg. So I'll put it back on the fire. That's my main protein choice today, and I'm gonna add my fish and leave it to start. Oh, my fish, I've cleaned it before. It was in the freezer, so it comes out now. It goes into the pot. Yeah, remember, it's a dried fish that you have to clean, take off the bones, because this is a draw soup. It's sticky with the bones and everything, so you can't cook it without washing that fish. You know, the fish, they roast them, and some of them are sandy. We have to clean it proper. I used to clean it, and then I used like sponge to grate on the skin to remove it. Some people doesn't eat the skin because of sand. So this is my choice of proteins. It's just dried fish and cow leg. So that's the kind of. So we'll start by boiling the your choice of protein and make sure you spice them. We can't do without spice anyway, you know. So I'm gonna add. What am I looking for? I'm looking for my spoon. So I'm gonna add the onions on my protein in the fire. Oh, quite unfortunately, you just watching my face. So I'm gonna add the onions. And some of the Maggi. Yeah, I normally have to boil my meat. I do boil my meat with Maggi cubes so that the taste, it will start tasting good from the moment you boil your meat. Yeah. So that's what I do. So while this, you get this one ready, you get your meat and choice of protein to cook. So the next thing you do is to fry the ogbono. I fry my ogbono because ogbono it curdles if you use the hot water to melt it, or add it. You can add it straight to your soup, but I just want that taste, the taste. There's a way we methodologically cook our soup depending on the individual. So I prefer to fry my ogbono, just with oil and onions, so that the onions taste will go into the ogbono and bring out more taste of nice cook. You know. So I chop it in tiny bits, just a bit. Yep. I'll get the oil ready. So that's that. I'll show you what I'm doing. So get the oil ready. Now, because of the weather here, oil get curdled up. I'll leave it there to melt. While I do that, I get my other ingredients. Get them going as well. So first of all is the okpei. We call it okpei, okpei or ogiri. So while I wait for the oil to melt, I get the other ingredients to blend them. Right, my oil is melted. I don't want the noise of the oil or that smoky bit. No. Right, start frying immediately. So get the onions in there, all in. Leave the onions to cook. There's a way you cook onions and the onions get soft and tender. So I'm gonna leave the onions to cook properly here before I add my ogbono. So I'll leave the onions to cook properly, fried. Yeah. So while the crayfish and the ingredients has gone in, so I leave it to boil like 15-20 minutes, because you need to taste that crayfish. Crayfish is a nice thing, and the sauce and the ingredients you put, they need to leave them to boil together and they merge. That is why Nigerian soup is different. That is why we make our soup soupy, taste good. So you need to boil them, allow them to cook with a low heat, and then the taste of all those ingredients comes out. You can taste them with your mouth, you can smell them in your nose. That's what makes our soup so perfect. Allow them to mirage while the onions is still frying. Look, the onions is still frying. It's not cooked yet. See, I'll allow it to cook well before I put my ogbono there. So we'll give it more time. Yeah, that is bubbling already. Good, perfect. Yeah. Now the crayfish bubbles. Look, because it has crayfish, it's just bubbling. By the time the crayfish get the taste mixed up properly, the bubbles will go. See, that's because it has okra and crayfish. They make food to bubble. Yeah, oh, noisy me. So, yeah, it's not cooked yet. Leave it to get tender and soft before we're gonna add the ogbono to fry. All right. Okay. Looking at the onions. Look, you can see it from there. It's a bit cooked. Look, it looks cooked now. So I'm just gonna add the ogbono. Yeah, I told you, just for frying. Blended ogbono. Don't need too much oil for it, just a little oil. Remember, this is red oil. I'm gonna add it some stock. That will help it to melt properly before you add it in the soup. Oh, look at that soup. So I'm getting some stock. Let's see what I'm doing here. Yeah, it will melt by itself here. Remember, I told you I'm gonna reduce the heat. So I'm adding some stock into the fried ogbono. Some ogbono will be drawing. This is not drawing like a typical good ogbono. This might be what we call ugiri. Mine. See, this is cooked already. You can feel the hot burning. So this is it. So I'm gonna add them here. I'm gonna add the whole ogbono in the soup. Right. With a low heat. It's always the low heat that you needed. Hope you can see. Smoky. See? Mm. So you need a little bit of salt. And cover up. Leave it to simmer a bit this time, like 5 minutes. And then you bring it down. Put your onions and soup is done. But I have okra, like I told you, so it's gonna be ogbono with okra. You can eat it just like that, without okra, without anything, and it's perfectly soup. Or you add okra. So I'll show you how it comes out at the end. Yep. Let's see what we're doing. Oh, look at that. Ogbono will easily burn, but look, my heat is so low. Oh, this is not a real ogbono. It's not drawing. Because if it's right one, look, it will be going like, it will be going down. So I'm gonna add my onions. Yeah, it's all vegetable soup. So I'm gonna add my onion. And I'll leave it to boil again for 5 minutes because of the onion. And my soup is done. Give it 5 more minutes. On still the low heat. Remember, always low heat. This is it. It's meant to be ogbono soup. It's not drawing, you see what they sell to us. We go to Nigeria and we buy them on. There is another tree that looks like ogbono. We call it ugiri tree, and that ugiri tree is, we eat it and then the seed becomes ogbono. So this is different. So probably this soup, what they sold me on the price of ogbono is ugiri, which is still, we cook it the same way. So it's supposed to be like runny, not runny, drawing. Look, it's not. It's not like so, but it's still soup. So this is what it is. Perfect. Like I told you, this is completely ogbono soup. It should be drawing. I'm so disappointed that it's not drawing. But I've seen it going like there, but it's still the ogbono soup. So you can eat it that way, perfectly okay. Oh, look, I've got some okra. So you can add okra as a vegetable on the soup. Some people add it and add more green vegetable, but this is the only way I eat it. I don't like adding extra vegetable. So this is perfectly good. And when I add the vegetable, the okra, I don't like boiling it for long. Actually, I add the okra and I turn up the heat because it's still hot in the pot and then it's gonna soften the vegetable. So why boiling it? So look at that. Depending on how you like it, it's all how you like it. Nigerian soup is all your own taste. But look, what has it come up to be? Yeah. So I've got some. This is Gary. Some swallow. So it's Gary. You get them in Asda anyway. So hot water. That is done there. So I'll dish it out. There. So look. So I'll leave it to cool down there. Show you what it looks like. This is the bag. This is the bag. When I mean Gary, look, what's his name? This is Ghana Gary. Can you see it? Oh, can you see? This is mirror mirror writing. Ghana Gary. Yeah, it's made of cassava. It's made of cassava, grated cassava, and then after grating it, they sieve up the water. I think it's the poisonous water or something like that, and then fry it, and you get this. Yeah, we do eat it like pounded fufu. That's the one we call fufu, but this one is got great. So at the end, this is what we got. This is the fufu, swallow, or you call it gari, and this is the soup, the okra ogbono soup. Quite unfortunate that it's not drawing, but it's supposed to be drawing. This tells you what we can buy. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't draw. Look, it doesn't draw. So it's still soup and tasteful. Bon appetit.